Good morning. Today I'm running with Fehmi. Fehmi is a person that I've known through running, through several groups. I know that he is an amazing runner. He's had many achievements, but I'm really eager to know more. So welcome, Fehmi.
Good morning, Omar.
Good morning. It's quite early, but it's beautiful weather.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Fehmi Sakkal. I'm 42 years old this year, and I work in IT. I like sports in general.
Yep.
Recently moved to Canada. Been here for 3 years now, and trying to enjoy the life here.
How are you finding the weather?
It's amazing. It's the best weather. Being here after living in the desert, or like the desert weather in the Middle East, especially in the UAE, after 11-12 years,
Okay.
is a big shift. It's a refreshing shift, I might say.
Oh, that's interesting to know. I think it will bring up some questions about running in different types of weather.
Definitely.
Okay. Okay, Fehmi, that's a nice introduction. Can you tell us now about your running life story? How it all started and where is it going?
Yeah, sure. So we'll go this way,
Okay.
because it's more interesting. I took up running recently. When I say recently, it's been like 3.5 years of consistent running. Don't get me wrong, I've played sports before, but
Okay.
for me sports was about being group sports.
Yep.
Being able to play with a team, which kept me going. That was the only way to get me to do sports. Yeah, we'll
Yep.
just watch our stuff here. It started as part of me realizing that running is a base for many other sports. Like, you want to play football better, soccer, you need to be a good runner,
Yep.
regardless of your position or whatever you play.
Absolutely.
So that was the main reason I did it. And then, gym, working out, becoming stronger, building more muscle mass. Some of friends who told me about Spartan races or obstacle course racing.
Yep.
And that's what got me more focused on running as well, because it's a big part of racing obstacle course races, being able to run and being strong and overcome the obstacles at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was told to join a running group, which was a new concept for me back in UAE. Then I used to be challenged by running 1 kilometer or 3 kilometers, like a few laps around the track. And now I'm an ultra runner. I'm an ultra trail runner, and I came all the way across being not a runner to running ultra distances on the trails in just 3 years and a half. So that's kind of a small history. After 6 months running in the UAE, I came here shifting from 40-50 degrees in the temperature to 11-12 degrees. I remember the only thing I had was just regular shirts and shorts, and my first run was around 6K here. I was taken away by the rabbits, the squirrels, the birds zooming in front of you. That was on Osprey Marsh in Mississauga. I love that place just because of that memory, being my first run in Canada. And then my second run was on the trails in Halton Falls in Hafta, and that's probably what got me hooked onto trail running.
Yeah.
22 kilometers. My longest run ever was my second run in Canada in 11 degrees, and I guess that's what kept me going, like wanting to stay warm.
Yep.
And I fell in love with the trails since then.
Yeah. I think trail running offers a really interesting prospect. That's interesting. Honestly, I mean, I was really surprised with what you said, because knowing your achievements now, I was expecting you to tell me that you've been running for like 20 years. So, I mean, that's amazing that you only started like 3 or 4 years ago. So, during this journey, can you tell us a moment that you're especially proud about, that you recall?
Well, it's always different moments as achievements and accomplishments keep changing and I keep improving and doing new things, running longer distances, probably getting or hopefully getting faster. It's the most recent ones. Like back in June, I did my Spartan Ultra race. It was actually an ultra weekend where I ran 50k in one day and then 20k the next day with very considerable elevation. So
wow.
I climbed more than half of Mount Everest in just one weekend. So
wow,
around 4,800 meters. On Saturday, the 50k took me 9 hours, and this affects me in the real life because going back to work, going back to home, going back to chores, going back to any challenge that I face now, I reflect back on the fact that I was actually able to stay on my feet for 9 hours and see it through. And if I could do that, then nothing's impossible. I can do anything in life.
Yes, yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree. I have friends, and sometimes my parents would say, why you like running, fine, and that's healthy, but why do the long distances? It takes time and effort. Why not just do like 5k or 10k races? Well, the thing is, I think we like the long distances because, as you said, we savor the challenge, the mental challenge,
yeah,
of committing yourself to an activity that spans a long time. The commitment to train to something like that, and just telling yourself, like you said, 9 hours, that's incredible.
Yes.
I'm sure that so many times during this you were like, oh, your body's telling you that's enough.
Yeah.
But you keep telling your body, no, it is not enough, I'll keep going. So this is, I think, something that once you start going to longer distances, you crave this feeling of control.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Fehmi, now during your running career, if I might call it, or mine, you know, we hear a lot of advice and yeah, exactly. But sometimes there is a saying or a wise word or advice, recommendation that you get from someone, read or hear, that may like really clicks with you, makes a difference, you know, moves you to a better place, whether mentally or physically. So can you share such an advice with us?
There are quite a few, to be honest, and I hope I'm not the only one where you only go by one mantra or one saying, but you start with one probably and you keep building on top of it.
Yep.
One of the first ones was, it's you against you, and that came out of Spartan. It taught me to stop worrying about competing with others. It's not about beating someone in a race, it's not about being stronger than someone, it's about beating myself, setting a benchmark and breaking it every single time, whether it's strength, whether it's running, whether it's distance, whether it's speed.
Okay.
I wish I could say the same thing about flexibility and mobility these days, but
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I strive for, that's what keeps me going. And then something that was more recent was it was from a book that I read a few years ago called Atomic Habits. It's about putting on the personality, the mindset of who you want to be, so
Correct.
that you are it. So I am an ultra runner because I want to be an ultra runner, not because I ran an ultra race.
Yep.
Or an ultra distance.
Yep.
So that's who I am, that's who I call myself to be, because once I say it to myself, I believe it, and I go that way. And a few other things here and there where, you know, building small habits. Someone told me that if you can just build or do an extra percentage, even if it's a 0.5% or 1% every single day, you'll be on your way to improvement. And that's again something that keeps me going, and something that I tell everyone who seeks advice from me. Like, it's okay, just do your best today, but tomorrow try to do a bit better. And
Yes.
with this gradual improvement, you'll just be compounding how much or how fast you're advancing. So yeah, that keeps me going. And one last one is, and that's related to racing specifically, which is, again, it comes from obstacle course racing, which is see you at the finish line, which again is motivation to finish what we started when we are in races. It's motivation to see things to the end and only look at results once you're done, once you've overtaken your challenge.
Because of where we are, and because I know you like running on trails, everyone that I've interviewed so far has said, when asked, that they prefer road versus trail. So I would love for you to make the other argument, the counter argument.
Oh, I love road running. But yeah, look at it. This is where we are today. This is where I live now, on the trails.
Yes.
And trail running is my preferred option when you offer me either of the two, whether it's for a low speed, long distance, or a short one, or even a race. I'd rather it be on the trail. Trail is amazing. First of all, because we're in Canada, and like right here today, we're in Arundel Park, going up past Riverwood, all the way up north. You get woodpeckers, you get deer. You get to run by the river where you can see the salmon fish this time of the year. So it's just appreciating nature for what it is in Canada. That's number one. Second, we've been running for quite a few minutes now, and we switched the ground field that we're running on through different surfaces. We ran flat, we ran up, we're running down, we're running on sand, soil, pebbles, gravel, leaves, wood chips. We don't have much branches. This is not a very technical route today. Not much branches or rocks, but all of these give you a different experience on the same run, which I found are very interesting. And then add to that all the benefits. Like, many people say trail running is not good, it's risky,
Injuries.
Yep, exactly. Like, I might roll my ankle, I might hurt my knees. Whereas it's actually the opposite. Like, there have been studies, I can look up the references, where it shows that if you're training on the trails, all the little inflammations, or let me call them, I won't call them injuries, but the little shocks that you're giving your joints and your ankles on the trail, because your foot is constantly not falling down flat, it's always falling at an angle, and with your foot trying to adapt and adjust its footing, its placement, your ankles get stronger, they get thicker, your tendons, your connective tissues, everything gets stronger. You might find it difficult at first, you might get some inflammation, especially if it's not your thing, if you don't do it regularly, but it's one of the best ways to become stronger physically and then mentally. Again, trail running has been linked to the best kind of running, especially when we're at an old age, to combat Alzheimer, to combat things that have to do with the nervous system. So
dementia.
Just being on dementia, being on the trail, looking out for where you're going to go next, jumping over a route, looking out for maybe dangers, or keeping a lookout for animals or for your running group, keeps you thinking. It's not only about running straight, being on a flat surface and getting into autopilot mode, which I get, which has its advantage for someone
sometimes
who wants to disconnect, who wants to just be with their thoughts. It would make sense to run on a flat surface on the road, but the biggest advantage here is that we don't have any traffic signals. And that's amazing. Like, you can run non-stop without any issue.
Yep.
On single track like we're going now, or on double track, which is wider before, so it's all fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
No, it's definitely a lot more interesting than running on the road. Okay, Fehmi. So we've established the benefits of running on the trail line. I think those are really interesting. But let me present you with another argument about gear. So if I am a beginner that I want to go onto trail running, what gear would you recommend that you found really helps?
That's a good question, because like, yeah, number one, I would say trail shoes.
Yes.
Everyone thinks that running is a cheap sport, that yeah, you can put on your trainers and go out, which is a very good way to start. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
And if you're on an easy trail, not very technical, ideal conditions, you can run it with regular shoes. It's not recommended, but trail shoes, yeah, it's doable. Trail shoes with some good traction. We'll start going back this way. Yep. Trail shoes with some good traction, with some good lugs, offer you better safety. But again, it needs like getting used to get into a trail shoe. So same thing as we used to say about older technology and regular running shoes. You need to put it on, you need to break it in.
Yes.
You need to get used to it and use it more often. So trail shoes is one of them, but there are many others.
Can I ask you, for the person that doesn't know, what is the difference between normal road running shoe and a trail shoe?
So trail shoes are not to be confused with hiking shoes, which are more rigid. They're more flexible than your regular shoes. They might have different dimensions when it comes to heel to toe drop, because when you run the trails, you want more traction. You might be engaging a different set of muscles, like using your calves more. So trail shoes are often with lower heel to toe drop.
Yes.
The surface on the sole, on the bottom of the shoe, has lugs, which makes those protuberances like get out of the shoe, so that you can have this traction, especially when it's muddy.
Can we see your shoes?
Oh, this is a basic trail one, so
Yeah.
it will be rough, but it's not. It doesn't stand out.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
is for a regular trail, but for a more advanced, like a technical trail, I would be wearing something like what you're wearing, or something with deeper lugs.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Has some lugs, not the deepest. There is definitely deeper, but it helps.
Yeah.
With some additional
Yeah,
traction.
so traction is one main aspect of trail shoes, flexibility is another, and the third is, I would say, the capability to deal with the muck, the mud, the moisture. So ever since I started running trail, I was offered two choices: either go Gore-Tex, water resistant or water repellent, or accept
Go ahead.
or accept everything that I'm gonna go through and look for something that has good moisture wicking capabilities.
Yeah,
Like I don't know if you wanna see it right now, but this is the kind of trail I enjoy. I'm not sure if you can see it from there.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
So what I would do is, instead of step on the rock, let's just go through the water.
Oh wow.
I'm on a trail now. And the combination of the shoes and socks here make a big difference. So you need something that will push everything back out, so that you can continue enjoying your run.
So you prefer that versus Gore-Tex, something that's completely waterproof?
Yeah, I've never tried Gore-Tex, to be honest. Number one, it's more expensive than the regular version of the shoes that you're looking for.
Yep.
Number two, I have this fear that if it's Gore-Tex, whatever manages to go into the shoe from the ankle side or from the sides will never get back out.
Yeah.
And you'll be stuck with it
You're right.
for the rest of the distance or time that you're running.
Yeah, you're right. I have hiking Gore-Tex shoes, and I've tried like running Gore-Tex shoes. They're great. They keep the water out, but they're also usually heavier.
Yeah.
Also, because of the material, they're stiffer. And as you said, like if something goes in, it doesn't come out.
Yep.
Also, because of how waterproof it is, it's not breathable at all.
Yes.
So if the weather is not very cold, my feet get very sweaty.
Yeah.
And it's not a comfortable feeling.
And there's a risk of freezing over if the weather is very cold as well.
Yeah.
Once you're too sweaty.
Yeah. Let's now go to some versus questions to know more about your preferences.
Sure.
Do you like running the long and slow runs, or do you like the shorter, speedier interval runs?
While they're both important for training, I would say the long and slow runs.
Long and slow.
Yes.
Okay. Which is your favorite running season? We live in an area where each season is very distinct.
You said it. It's very hard to choose.
Yep.
I would avoid running in the hot weather. Hot used to be 40 degrees for me. Now hot is 20 degrees.
Yes.
But I actually prefer running in the snow, in the winter, in the cold weather.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you not worry about slipping or stepping on something?
Again, it's a question of proper gear, and snow and the weather conditions during the winter make road running closer to trail running, which again I find more interesting.
I see. What is your preferred time of day if there is no constraints from work or family?
Oh, definitely the morning, because that's what keeps you going. You just sail through the day, whether it's following a 5K run or a 20K run.
What about running solo versus running in a group?
Group. I hate running. Group is what keeps me going.
Okay.
Solo is for training, is for fast paces, is when you feel you need to get individual and you cannot run with a group facing you or you facing them.
I agree. If you're running alone, do you usually listen to music? Do you listen to podcasts, audiobooks, or being on a trail, do you want to listen to nature?
I prefer the sounds of nature,
Okay.
but let me give you some more information about myself.
Yep.
Again, going back to hating running, I started with not being able to run without something in my ears, like music, basically, and then switched to audiobooks, and then went back to music. And then in one of our first trail races here, they told us headphones or earpods or whatever is not allowed for safety reasons.
Yep.
Which again now makes more sense for me running without that for safety reasons, especially if I'm running alone, whether on the road or on the trail. But it kind of helped me going to the direction of running naked. Like even right now,
Yes.
I don't
have a watch.
I don't have a watch, I don't have my heart sensor. And again, running naked, for those who don't know, it's not about stripping and running naked.
Yeah.
It's about running without the use of technology or the help, or just putting it there because that's how we're used to it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I enjoy that more, especially on long, slow runs, because I don't feel I need to track my performance. I don't feel I need to be on top of my stats. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, it's very freeing. I think we've covered a lot of ground. Excuse my pun.
yes.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about or promote or bring attention to?
Yeah, sure. I raise my voice now because we're next to the river, the Credit View River. Credit River, sorry. I don't want people watching this video to think that it's either trail running or road running. It's either short or long. It's either racing or not. It's either solo or group.
Yep.
We tend to be overwhelmed. I'm not a professional or I'm not an elite athlete.
Yep.
And with all the content I see out there on social media today, I get overwhelmed.
Yes.
Whether it's the mechanics of running, the nutrition, the recovery, the training types, the training schedule, the frequency, how do I look into my thresholds, my heart rates, my zone 2, my zone 5, what does Euclid Kipchoge do, what does Usain Bolt do, and these are the two extreme poles.
And sometimes contradicting advice.
That's what it would seem to us like, but God knows, because we're only touching on the basics. We're amateur. For me, I consider myself amateur, and I'm just getting started. I would advise everyone not to get distracted with the bells and whistles of social media. Some people do put out very good content out there, but most of the content these days is very specialized, specific, or targeted to push your boundaries a bit further, like 0.1%.
Yep.
When you're doing your 100%. I'd say focus on the bigger fish, like focus on the 100%.
Yep.
And then work on those marginal gains, those trends are giving you.
Yes.
Always seek out the advice of professionals, doctors, nutritionists, and elite athletes, probably.
Yep.
Now, having said that, running is not only about running. As I said, running is the base for many other sports. But in order to run, I did have to fight for a long time with the fact that you have to cross-train. You have to put something in the mix for continuing to run. If you want to run further, if you want to run longer, if you want to run faster, you have to build your muscle strength. You have to work on training your body for different conditions.
Yep.
And that's where strength training comes in and plays a big role, where I believe that, again, don't let it overwhelm you. As long as you're doing a base requirement to maintain your muscle mass, to add to your strength. When we talk about flexibility, when we talk about mobility, when we talk about this elastic power that you need to support your body weight,
Yep.
while running, that's where I advise many runners to focus on, and that's what I'm doing today. Like, I have my own obstacle course racing group.
Yes.
Called Oxtrade OCR.
Can you tell us more about that, please?
Oh, sure. So, shameless plug here. We started out last year with a mix of different runners and athletes. The objective is to get people ready or familiarized with obstacle course racing.
Nice.
And how running and trail running gets into the mix of obstacle course racing.
Yep.
So it was mainly to train people on how do I carry a sandbag over a distance.
Wow.
How do I get on bars when I'm running a trail and be able to finish my race running. So that's how it started. We started out training in the park. Training has evolved, like people want more. I've seen runners join us, I've seen CrossFitters join us. They want more than obstacle course racing. They want to get stronger, and they're using the obstacle course racing approach to become better runners. And even now we've pivoted, so we do 3 sessions a week. We do 1 obstacle course training, 1 fun, and on Saturday we have a strength session, an indoor strength session. So no matter what the weather is like, we meet indoors. We focus on overall strengthening, but we do also focus most of the time on core and lower body, because that's what you need for running.
I see.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to join your group, how can they find it? How can they reach you?
Oh, so just reach out to me over Instagram or WhatsApp.
Okay.
You will definitely find a link to the group over there.
Hey Fehmi, this has been amazing. I was not expecting all the fun that I had on the trail. I knew that I was gonna have an amazing conversation with you, but I'm glad you picked the trail, because I haven't run on a trail for a while. I got my shoes wet.
That's good.
But I really had fun.
Yeah, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
The mist has lifted, the sun is up.
Oh, the weather is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sunny, not cold, not hot, not humid. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time.
You're most welcome.
I really appreciate it.
Fun.
Can you give me recommendations for the next interviews? If there is 1, 2, or 10 people.
Oh, I have
you'd
quite
recommend.
a few. Yeah, definitely. So to be honest, like I wish we could interview someone like a professional athlete.
Yes.
Like my coach, Jesse Bruce.
Okay.
Look him up. He's always podium Spartan.
Wow.
He's top 10 Ironman in multiple ones right now, 70.3 and full ones.
Yep.
And he's competing like on a worldwide stage. He's amazing. If we can catch him, that would be fun. He has a very nice backstory.
Oh,
yeah, but more locally, again, people who I run with inspire me, especially like people like Jared Legrove or Paul. Like, we have a running group, we do run every day. And when I say we, it's them. I can't even keep up with them running every day.
wow.
They run every single day. Like, okay, Monday's a break, Tuesday to Sunday, every single day. People who are, I don't want to say way older than me, but older than me, who can keep it up 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I want to be like them when I'm their age, or
Exactly.
hopefully way before when I'm their age, so I can guarantee this continuation.
Yeah.
So I would go out and check with Gerald, with Paul, with Sharon. She's in Milton. These are people you would love to hear from, especially that they've had way longer experience in running. They've been running since they were at college, or they've been doing everything all over Canada, North America, and so on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. No, I'll definitely reach out to all of them, and hopefully we can get some runs in on camera.
Sure.
Thanks again, Fehmi.
Yeah.
We'll keep
most welcome.
enjoying our run.
Yeah.
Talk to you again.
My pleasure, Omar.
Thanks.
See you soon.